Games. Games everywhere. Good games, bad games, Hunger Games. Games for last gen, current gen, next gen, oxygen, you name it. With so many eyes on games like Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty, a lot of really good games doesn't get the recognition it deserves. So I decided to make a couple of videos featuring games that I feel are underrated or unappreciated. First off is Alan Wake. Alan Wake is a psychological thriller game from Remedy, the same studio that gave us Max Payne 1 and 2, or as I like to call them, the good ones. Released in 2010 to favorable reviews, the game still seems to have flown over a lot of people's heads. The game takes place in a town called Bright Falls, where Alan and his wife Alice travels for some peace and quiet.
Everything's fine. You dozed off.
Right. Anything more than dozed off would be news for everyone.
Alan is a famous writer who suffers from writer's block and hasn't written a word in over 2 years.
Can you believe this place? This would make a wonderful setting for a book.
We're supposed to be on vacation, Alice. I'll figure it out when we get back home, okay?
Okay. We can talk about this later.
They rent a cabin on a lake from this non-suspicious lady. Just lovely. Clearly, nothing weird is going on.
Hey,
Or
wait!
is it?
Your keys!
Surprise!
Alice? What is this?
I guess I have a small confession to make. I thought maybe you could write here that a change of scenery would get you past...
Damn it, Alice, everyone keeps...
Hey, just hear me out.
After a fight between a couple, Alan rushes out in an emo fit of rage. Alice, you just don't get me! God! And something in the cabin starts attacking Alice.
Alice?
Alice?
Alan! Alan! Alan!
Alice!
Where are you? Help!
Alice, I'm coming! It's all right, I'm coming!
What the hell?
Alan!
Alan! Alan!
Help me!
Alan rushes back into the cabin and sees a darkness pulling Alice down into the lake, and Alan follows.
Oh no!
He slowly regains consciousness in the middle of a car crash that probably occurred while Alan was posting sad Facebook statuses. A week has passed since his arrival and he doesn't remember anything. Alan starts finding torn pages from his own book entitled Departure, a book he has no memory of ever writing. As he reads the pages, they start to come true.
I couldn't remember writing it. In the scene on the page, the hero was attacked by an axe murderer in the woods at night.
Yes, Alan?
The story and setting of Alan Wake is incredibly immersive. The game is set up like a TV show with the game taking place over 5 episodes, including cliffhangers and previously on Alan Wake segments.
Previously on Alan Wake.
The game has clearly been influenced by this type of storytelling, and it suits it really well. The main story is told through the well-done cutscenes and Alan's own monologues, both done with great voice acting.
Did you talk to my wife?
I had the pleasure of discussing your situation with her on several occasions.
Did you set something?
It's also well written and you actually care about a lot of the characters.
When you start confusing fiction with reality, you're buying yourself a ticket to the funny farm.
The player can also choose to explore the world through talking to people, listening to radios, watching televisions, or reading hidden pages from Departure.
Only darkness. I can feel her presence in the dark. Just now, I could smell her perfume in the room.
There is a lot here that expands the story and its setting, without it being a requirement for the player. The game is based around the battle between the light and the dark, and your most important weapon is a simple flashlight. The enemies are called the Taken.
I don't know who you are. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
Fair and square.
They are people absorbed by a dark force and can only be defeated by shining your flashlight at them before firing with your weapon. The enemies often appear in big numbers and when you least expect it, always keeping you on your toes. Even though Alan Wake is advertised as a psychological thriller, it has a lot of elements taken straight from the survival horror genre. You feel uncomfortable most of the time thanks to the incredible creepy environments. There are a lot of secret paths you can find which leads to supplies and more pages, you know, if you had balls. Some of my favorite segments in the game actually take place during the day when you can stroll around and check things out. You also get to meet some of the citizens of Brightfall, some who may or may not come back as taken and try to brutally murder you, as acquaintances are known to do. Another similarity to survival horror is the limited arsenal, which contains a pistol, rifle, shotgun, and the awesome flare gun. The ammo is limited as well, which means that rounding in all guns blazing is probably not a good strategy. Even though Alan Wake draws inspiration from a lot of sources, it still felt new and fresh to me. Looking back at the last generation of consoles, Alan Wake is a title that really stands out to me and that I remember fondly.
I love you.
It saddens me that it never got the sequel it deserved, as the ending and its downloadable content doesn't deliver any closure to the story. Instead of getting an Alan Wake 2, Remedy released the downloadable game Alan Wake's American Nightmare, which is more of a spin-off really. It may share the same gameplay as the original, but the story, setting and overall tone is totally different. But who knows? Maybe when Remedy is done with this next game, Quantum Break, maybe we will see the return of Alan. And during the meantime, you all have a damn fine game to experience, if you haven't already.